Buhari urges India to intensify efforts on foreign direct investment. Police in Nasarawa rescue 30 kidnapped victims. Plus, INEC's extension of deadline for PVC collection. Correspondent examines the successes and challenges of the exercise so far. Hello, this is Panorama coming to you live from the NTA Enugu Network Center. I am Nina Adobe Kobasi. Remember, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at www.nta.ng/live and all our social media handles displayed on your screen for update. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong case for India to intensify efforts towards facilitating the flow of foreign direct investment in the Global South, leveraging his presidency of the G20. This is while addressing the virtual summit of the Global South. State House correspondent Adam Sambo.
With the theme, Unity of Voice and Unity of Purpose, the Voice of the Global South, as the summit is called, was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India towards uniting the nations of the Global South into a powerful front so that their common aspirations can be met through an action-oriented approach.
It is in line with the vision, One Earth, One Family, One Future, that India calls for this summit, bringing together leaders of the South to share their perspectives and priorities on a common platform ahead of the G20 summit later this year. Nigeria is in full support of this noble initiative and hope that the outcome of the summit will be given top priority at G20 meetings.
The Global South, in common parlance, is a term used for countries mainly in Latin America, Asia, Africa, and Oceania that have low levels of economic and industrialized development located to the south of the industrialized developed nations.
I have no doubt that the emergence of India as voice of the Global South is apt, considering the role the country played during its 2-year term at the United Nations Security Council and the humanitarian gesture it extended during the coronavirus pandemic. I am also optimistic that the summit will address issues of climate change, food security, and access to energy, as well as ways to reduce the increasing burden of debt and inflation in the Global South. This huge debt burden has significantly derailed many countries' development plans. The effect of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict has further aggravated the situation.
The Global South, President Buhari said, is driven by historical ties and sense of deep solidarity, hence his plea to participating leaders to agree on a common agenda that will enable them put forward collective demands to the Global North through India as voice of the Global South. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Presidential candidates of All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has promised to, within the first 100 days of office, hit the ground running by selecting a team of technocrats that will help him run the country at much faster pace if elected in the next month's presidential election. The APC presidential candidate unfolded his comprehensive economic plan before the organized private sector under the aegis of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. In a statement by Tunde Rahman of his media office, the APC presidential candidate noted that before economic recovery could be achieved, the nation must be first secured stating that no nation can flourish with terrorists and kidnappers in their midst. On the major issue of unemployment in the country, Tinubu promised to focus on the creative sector, which has an opportunity to provide millions of jobs annually. He added that if elected, his administration would immediately address fiscal, monetary, and trade reforms to effectively increase domestic production, thus serving to curb imported inflation and ensure better macroeconomic stability by accelerating inclusive growth and job creation across Nigeria. Tinubu was the first among the top candidates to appear at the presidential dialogue on the Nigerian economy put together by the NESG. Moving on, the Nasarawa State Police Command has rescued 30 kidnapped victims from the Kaduna forest in total local government area of the state. This followed an intelligence report on the activities of suspected kidnappers in the area, where they held victims hostage. Subsequently, a joint operation was carried out by the operatives of the command and the NTA vigilante group of total local government area to effect the rescue. In a statement by the police public relations officer Raman Nansel, the victims, comprising 20 males and 10 females, who were rescued unhurt, had been taken to the hospital for medical examination. The victims will subsequently be reunited with their families after debriefing. For more than 48 hours now, Kano-Zaria Highway has continued to be under watertight blockade by truck drivers to protest alleged shooting of their member by military personnel. Tina Toro reports that despite the intervention of some stakeholders, the gridlock still persists.
This is Rima Village, where the long queue of trucks ended from Kaduna State. Ascertaining the number of trucks parked can be difficult, as motorists say the long queue reached Kura local government area of Kano State. Passengers who are on their way to Kaduna and other parts of the country called on the government to expedite action in resolving the issue. Truck drivers interviewed bare their minds.
No, maybe the government will help us. All this will not be only made the way it happen. That's what happened. So many ways. We just did it since we don't know anything about it. Maybe yes, we are with this. No, they safe.
The gridlock, which started at Mumbai on Tuesday, has disrupted the movement of vehicles on the highway, which connected some northern states and western parts of the country. Tina Turu, NTA News.
The Minister of Works has sustained its intervention on internal roads by successfully handling 64 internal road projects in various federal tertiary institutions and handed over a total of 46 as at March 2022. While 18 is ready to be handed over, 19 is still on course, totaling 83 roads. Correspondent reports. Handing over the 0.8-kilometer road rehabilitated by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to the Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, represented by Controller, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Enugu State, affirmed that internal road network projects intervention in various federal tertiary institutions have greatly impacted on increased quality of education in Nigeria.
It is undebatable that quality of education will be impacted by the quality of infrastructure and learning environment, and those who have to simply listen to some of the feedback from students in the schools where this type of intervention has taken place.
He further stated that the gap of infrastructural needs is steadily being bridged by a gradual process of repairs, renewal, and construction on major highways, and it has reached the schools. In appreciation, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, represented by the Deputy Director of Works, UNEC, confirmed that students are indeed expressing renewed enthusiasm towards attending classes as some defective roads have been restored.
We are really happy
The road network actually gave a facelift to the internal roads we have in the university.
I actually like it, and I encourage them to also tie some other places that are not well done or tied.
During the construction of the 0.8 kilometer road, about 100 people were employed, which contributes to the job creation initiative of the federal government. We'll take a break here. Panorama continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
We're back. Following the challenges of permanent voter cards at the registration areas and wards, the Independent National Electoral Commission extended the collection at ward level to 22nd of January, while the deadline for collection ends on the 29th of January 2023. Ukeria Ugo reports that the resident electoral commissioner in Enugu State stated this while reacting to situation at PVC collection areas.
Centers, registrants were orderly because of the INEC volunteers. Distribution of cards were going smoothly, while in other centers the story is different. Registrants complained about the lateness of the INEC officials and the inherent delays.
We have 2 personnel here, and the process is not going very well. Only 2 personnel here, and we have more than 500 persons here. We are actually understaffed, and we are having difficulty trying to pick up our card.
So it's okay, it's calm, everywhere is moving smoothly. I'm watching my next
We are all over the LGAs, the police, and almost all the roads. We also move around. So what we do is to help them arrange the crowd. Basically, we do crowd control.
Yes, I was here since 7 o'clock. They came in time. The crowd was too much. So we have written our names. At least people have been collecting, they are going. But the most important thing, that the way they are working is very, 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 very okay for me.
The resident electoral commissioner Enugu State noted that the Independent National Electoral Commission reviewed the PVC collection deadline owing to the surge being experienced at the collection centers.
The ongoing civil have extended till 29th of January 2023. Then on this category, from the 15th, record at ROA level that have ongoing from 6th, that should end on 15th, now extended to 22nd.
Meanwhile, eligible voters appealed to the INEC to send adequate staff to the various wards to ease the collection of the PVCs. In Enugu, Ukeria Ugu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, reports just reaching us states that Ararume Spare Parts Market in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, was gutted by fire in the wee hours of today, happening a second time in the last few months. The market is one of the major markets in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Reports reaching us also indicate that the fire incident, which started at around 2 a.m., affected about 55 shops. We'll bring you details of this report in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, that report on PVC collection forms our background for today's discussion on Panorama. And of course, with me in the studio to expand the discourse is Mr. Achumie Chuka Rex. He is the head of Department, Voter Education and Publicity, INEC Enugu. Sir, welcome to Panorama.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, if you will speak out a little bit, that would be nice. Okay, since the collection of PVCs last year, sir, how would you describe the response?
Anyway, so far so good. I will say the response has been a little bit fair. I wouldn't say it's bad when we look at the number of PVC collected so far in the inception of the collection. If you could recall, the collection of PVC started on 22nd of December, and within the period, the Enugu State, the commission did not go on Christmas break. The issuance was continuous through the Christmas up to the New Year period, and with the extension of the movement from the local government to the world by 1 week, which was supposed to have been closed by 22nd of January, and now extended by 1 week. We are now going to close the movement of the world from the local government to the world, which started on the 6th. We are now closing it on 22nd. I hope there will be a further increase in people. Like I said today, we are having almost about 61,362 people who have collected their PVC, and a total of 319,870 as uncollected per now.
Okay, so before we get to statistics, there was this enthusiasm before the continuous, voter registration with thousands of people, coming out. Is that enthusiasm still there? Or do you see any change in the enthusiasm of people coming out to collect their PVC?
I think it is there, but a common character that is very peculiar with people from the southeast. We never run for rain until it seems to be drowning the person. For now, I believe it is still there. The turnover has been increasing tremendously based on the, media publicity we have been doing, and with the help of other, the agencies helping the issuance of the PVC.
Okay. Now, what is the response since the decentralization of collection of voters' cards? What is the response?
The response is very encouraging, because if you compare when we are at the local, when we are at the local government level, there was this common complaint of nearness to the home of the people who wants to go to collect the PVC because of the high cost of the transportation caused by fuel increase and all that.
Okay.
So with the movement from the local government down to the world level, I feel there is a lot of tremendous increase compared as at the time we are at the local government.
Well, let's talk about INEC staff. There's been this complaint about the attitude of some INEC officials, being not being proactive to the situation. What is INEC doing about it?
Anyway, it depends on the area where the complaint is coming from, but I know here in Enugu State, it wasn't, like that, because all the management staff is committed to see that everybody gets his PVC, and that is why the commissioner who is in charge here, Dr. Chukwuemeka, has encouraged that and instructed that all the management will be going, on a check of all the units and wards.
Okay.
To see that everything runs smoothly.
Okay. Was INEC able to print all the PVCs registered under the continuous voter registration exercise?
Yes, I think we're able to print it, except where there are cases you might have some complaint and all that.
Okay.
Some people doing the registration did not complete the registration process, and they felt probably that their card will come out, which it did not. And there are people who, for one reason or the other, did a double registration.
Okay.
They now felt that the card will still come out, but the commission did not print the current one, but rather they retained the old one.
Okay.
So these are the common complaints we get from.
Okay. How many PVCs have been collected so far, and how many is remaining? Do we have that stuff?
Yeah, like I said, we have so far distributed 61,362 PVCs to the owners. And we have about 319,870 as uncollected as at 2 days ago. I felt from yesterday and today there must have been an increase too.
Okay, let's talk about the beavers. Many Nigerians have commended INEC about the beavers. What are the other areas you think needs improvement by INEC?
I know that the introduction of beavers has brought a lot of changes in the electoral system process of Nigeria. Like when you compare the beavers with the card reader, which is previously used as a 2019 election, you find out that a lot of changes has taken place. Like when we are using the card reader, it concentrates just mainly on the finger thumb printing. But with the introduction of the beavers, it now combines both thumb printing and facial outlook. Now, that time in question, you find out that there are a lot of ways of manipulating the reader, which is room to read.
Okay.
You'll find cases where, after the election, the party agents will come together and share the balance of the ballot paper. But this time around, you cannot do it. And there are cases you'll find where after the election, you find out that there are systems of printing and stuffing of the ballot boxes. But this time around, the introduction of the beavers has already cut short of those malpractices. So I will say that introduction of beavers in the upcurrent election is a good thing in the right direction.
Okay, sir. INEC has issued a deadline for the collection of PVC. Why is it impossible for the collection to even continue till a few days to the election?
INEC is an institution established by law. And everything we are doing in INEC is guided by Nigerian Constitution and Electoral Act of 2022. It is time tagged. Like the collection of this PVC, once it stops, INEC will now go on to publish the number of people that collected the PVC.
Okay, I think that point is taken, sir. Because of time, your final words and advice to Nigerians as elections hit around the corner.
My advice is that no amount of prayer or appearance in social media, Twitter, and whatever will change the status quo.
Okay.
Changes starts with you. And the only way you can make a change is to collect your PVC.
Okay.
And appear physically on the day of election and cast your vote.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir. I've been speaking with Mr. Achumi Echuka Rex. He is the head of Department Voter Education and Publicity, INEC, Enugu State. Moving on, the intervention of CBN, which pegs cash withdrawal at regularized units, will not only control the amount of cash flow outside the banking system and serve as a great boost to the cashless policy, but will also serve as an ambush against promoters of vote buying. But CBN should also be aware of its challenges, especially on the bank depositors. These were the reactions from the Southeast as it takes effect. Comfort Iron has details.
December 6, 2022 came the directive by CBN on the Naira withdrawal limit, and January 9, 2023 was the commencement date. Already, residents of the Southeast have embraced the new regime, which pegged the maximum cash withdrawal per week at 100,000 naira and 500,000 naira respectively via automated teller machine ATM, subject to a maximum of 20,000 naira cash withdrawal per day.
Telling us that there should be a ceiling or limit to what we can spend in a day or to what we can withdraw in a day is not a bad thing. As much as it is not abused.
I don't really withdraw up to that 100,000 because I don't need up to that amount.
When you do transfer sometimes, the money will be debited from your own account and the receiver wants to receive the money. Yet, it will take the bank sometimes some 2 hours, sometimes 2 weeks for that to be reversed. If you go to POS, that is the worst.
Though it was a mixed bag for many, as some are not even aware of the commencement.
And here say the federal government said that they should put it in the ATM, but yet they don't put it.
The people maintained that if the policy will regulate the amount of cash flow outside the banking system and serve as a great boost to cashless policy, as well as serve as an ambush against promoters of vote buying, then Nigeria will be free from corruption. Meanwhile, some ATM machines in Enugu State are still loaded with old Naira notes, while others are mixed. In Enugu, Comfort, IM, NTA News.
Remains of 4 family members who died as a result of early morning fire outbreak at Kofora Gayan locals in Sabongari local government area of Kaduna State have been laid to rest according to Islamic rites. Omar Ajingo reports.
The fire incidents occurred Thursday night, claiming the lives of a whole family, including the parents and 2 of their children. However, the combined effort of firefighters and the residents of the community put out the fire, even though it has already wrecked down the entire building.
And this happened because of fire incident. So it's so unfortunate that we go and
Though the cause of the fire incident is yet to be ascertained, this is the second time in less than 2 months fire disaster is claiming lives of people in the city of Zaria. In Kaduna, Umar Jingi, NTA News.
That does it on Panorama from the NTA Enugu Network Center. We thank you so much for staying with us. Remember to join the NTA as we stand against rape and rapists. Do have a lovely day. Bye-bye. Thank you.